Dynasty Warriors Origins has arrived, and I'm here to give you my first impressions of the game. We'll be talking about everything from graphics and gameplay to overall fun factor. If you're going into this game expecting it to be another mainline release with tons of playable characters and weapon variety, you'll either be disappointed or pleasantly surprised by the changes. This video contains no spoilers, and it covers my experience from the start of the game to the end of Chapter 1, which basically covers the Yellow Turban Rebellion. Now, before we get into the details, if you're new to the Dynasty Warriors franchise and thinking, what the heck is this game and why is it such a big deal? I'd have to make a separate video to explain why the series has such a hardcore fanbase and why fans continue buying the games even though each game follows the same storyline. But for the sake of this video, I'll keep it simple. Dynasty Warriors is a hack-and-slash series set in ancient China during the Three Kingdoms era. In the game, you're given a large selection of unique characters to choose from as you fight through epic battles and relive iconic moments based on the romance of the Three Kingdoms novel. Let's talk about what makes Origins stand out from the rest of the Dynasty Warriors games. Like I previously mentioned, some of the biggest changes come in the form of reducing the amount of playable characters from over 90 as of Dynasty Warriors 9 to just one main character and 9 playable side characters. You'll also notice that the story only goes up to the Battle of Cherby, which is usually considered the halfway point in the mainline series. While these are drastic changes, I don't see this as a bad thing for a spin-off game. In my opinion, the limited scope of this game has allowed Omega Force to create something that not only brings Dynasty Warriors into the next generation of gaming, but also stands on its own as a solid hack-and-slash RPG. Let's talk gameplay. The main gameplay is split into two sections, the world map and the battlefield. The interactive map is a new addition to the franchise, and I think it does a great job of showing you the grand scope of China while also giving you a chance to explore meaningful moments outside of combat. The main things you'll be doing are interacting with important characters, hunting for hidden resources, and upgrading your equipment. Outside of the main battles, you'll find optional battles scattered throughout the map, and these can range from very short capture the base missions to longer battles featuring a variety of objectives. While these optional battles don't play a huge part in the story, they're great for grinding experience points and completing companion quests that can unlock cutscenes featuring more character development. In terms of actual battle, the combat is as fluid as it's ever been, and they've made a few changes that enhance the combat that most fans are used to. In addition to adding an evade button, you now have button combinations that pull off special moves and a bird that helps you find hidden objectives throughout the missions. Unlike the previous games, charging into an enemy officer surrounded by his most loyal soldiers isn't going to be a walk in the park. Enemy officers now have shield icons that you have to break down before you can deal significant damage to them. The more shields they have, the tougher they'll be. And if the enemy has a high morale, you'll have to either capture some surrounding bases to lower it or prepare yourself for an intense fight. My main tip is to take advantage of the chances to counterattack and use your special abilities to break down their guard, leaving them open for a deadly attack animation. And in terms of difficulty, the game is hard enough on the standard difficulty, and I can't imagine how much harder it gets on the hardest difficulty, but I know for a fact that I do not want to pursue Lubu on that one. As far as presentation goes, this is some of the best storytelling you'll get from a Dynasty Warriors game. And while the story is limited to the Battle of Cherby, everything from the start of the Yellow Turban Rebellion and onward is given so much love and care from the team in order to give you a deeper and more developed Three Kingdoms story than what fans are used to. The cutscenes are well done, and while the choices and dialogue don't seem to matter as much as I had hoped, they give us a chance to dive deeper into who the characters are and how they develop. In battle, you'll notice plenty of enemies on the screen, creating a sense of immersion and making each battle feel like an actual tug-of-war between large armies. One thing I love is the introduction to each major battle in the strategy room. While most of it isn't voiced, I like how they discuss the strategy and how some characters still showcase their personalities during it. The addition of sparks flying when fighting to soldiers pulling off killing animations really adds to the overall experience. And I don't feel like I need to say much about the music because, if you know Dynasty Warriors, you know the music is amazing in each release, but in Origins, you are definitely getting hit after hit. While I really enjoyed the game for what it is, the game isn't perfect by any means. One of the first things I noticed was the blurry text throughout the game. I play on a 1440p monitor, and it feels like the text wasn't upscaled properly to really fit that. Sometimes the text is just a bit blurry as I'm playing, and it makes it a little bit difficult to read when there's so much going on the screen. Another thing I noticed is just how quiet the main menu is. I wish there was a bit more going on when you first boot up the game to get you excited for what you're about to experience. Another thing that's lacking is some of the UI elements. The screen for selecting a skill could have used a little bit more love, as it doesn't feel very exciting when you're selecting your next upgrade. In terms of gameplay, my main criticism is the dialogue choices. I really wanted the dialogue choices to carry a bit more weight than they actually do in the game. The choices you make are mainly avenues to give you a bit more insight into each character's personality, which, It's nice when you can get a little bit more story and a little bit more personality from the characters, but I wish the choices you made had a bit more of an impact. While none of this is really game-breaking, I think a few changes would have made for a better experience overall. Now, I've really enjoyed the game so far, and I think it's a great change of pace for old Dynasty Warriors fans, while also being a perfect introduction to the series for newer fans. As an old fan myself, I'm impressed by the changes they've made to the original formula, and I hope they borrow some elements from this game for the next mainline release. A huge thank you to Koei Tecmo for providing me an early access key to create this content. It means the world to have their support, especially since I grew up playing Dynasty Warriors and it's one of my favorite video game franchises. As a token of appreciation for giving my video a watch, I'm giving away one deluxe edition copy of Dynasty Warriors Origins. Just leave a comment about how excited you are for this game in order to enter. Thank you for sticking around until the end of the video. I hope you found it insightful, and if there's anything specific you'd like answered or want me to cover more in depth, please let me know. If you like the content, it would mean the world to me if you subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Pizza Fam.